I have another $100 microphone. It's this little Sennheiser microphone. Actually, it's going to be my first recording with it. It's going to be part of my road gear. Exceptional microphone for the value. And I'm a big fan of Sennheiser. It's got a little plug for the back. I use these little in-ears so you could see on the side, so I get isolated and I could hear really well during the recording. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, hit the bell so you get notified. And again, share this episode and this podcast with your friends and ask them, hey, help my friend out, help a guy check out, help support his channel. Just go out there and subscribe and watch some episodes. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hey, welcome to episode 95. We got a little change in the format today. A lot of my guests are still wrapping up the new year and getting into the new year, so we changed up some of the schedule here, and I decided today I would do an episode by myself answering some questions that I've been getting about why the heck I ever started to do a podcast. Some people said, what do you think, you're going to be the next Joe Rogan? Well, while people are away, I'm away here in Aruba. And first and foremost, this is something you can do from anywhere. It's an amazing opportunity to be able to create high-level content, high-quality content anywhere you go. But I'm going to back way up. So I have this friend, his name is Adam Curry. For those about my age or maybe a little bit younger, you'll likely remember Adam from the MTV days. He was the tall, handsome, big-haired MTV. And he started doing something in the 90s where he was recording his audio show and he was putting it on the Mac drive, which was, I guess, for all intents and purposes, the first attempt at some cloud storage. And from there, he would set up RSS feeds and allow people to RSS his radio show and download the show. And it garnered so much attention from Steve Jobs that Steve called him out to a conference once and said, Adam, what are you doing here? What is this? And he said, hey, this is what I want to do. It's sort of to democratize broadcasting and allow everybody to have a show and do these things. Well, back in the day, bandwidth wasn't what it is today. And it was hard. It was hard to download that stuff. So Steve says, hey, what if I gave you radios? What if the iPod became the radio for everybody to be able to grab these shows? So de facto, Adam he's known as the Podfather. He runs a show where he's been podcasting for over 18, 19 years now called No Agenda, highly successful. He does it with John C. Dvorak. And he's been doing consistently 2 hours, 3-hour shows twice a week for 18 plus years, had crazy success. And through one of my visits down to visit, he said to me, hey man, why don't you have a podcast? You know tons of people. You're a pretty smart guy most of the times. He said, you've got a lot of information about your experiences and what you've done. And I'll pick a topic. And so I said, success is a great topic that I like, and I'm a study of it. I love understanding how people have found their own success and about how they, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights. We all know that the term overnight success is an overstatement. It's rarely ever overnight. So I decided I was going to put a podcast together. I bought a batch of gear in late 2023. I sat on it for a little bit. When 2024 kicked back around, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And I bought a Podcaster Pro. It's a 6-channel digital audio workstation that allows me to put in multiple mics and has an effects pad and really gets me to tune in the audio sound that I want. And I started with just a native camera on my Mac. I bought some lighting. I set up my room in my home the way I'd like. I originally started with no low lighting and just front lighting. And I was mostly focused on the guests, the quality of the conversation. And so the first message for anybody out there who wants to start a podcast, it's super easy to get high quality audio video these days. If you have one of these, the old iPhone, and it's the latest, and you put it up here in landscape mode, but turn it around and use the back camera, even if you use the front, you're going to get a high quality, minimum 2K up to 4K video recording. Plug in a mic and a headset into this thing, and you're going to get some audio. So it's going to be high quality with the tools you can get right in your hands. I use a platform called Riverside. It's riverside.com. And this platform allows me to stream and record anywhere I want, anywhere in the world, any time of day at a very, very high quality. The beauty about this platform is it sort of streams to your local device, buffers it, and then moves it up to the cloud. So even as I'm recording here, I'm seeing 99%, 98%. It's recording to the local device and then moving up. What that means is that if I get some jitter in the internet connection or a momentary dropout, you just keep talking. And when it's all done, you're going to have a very high quality feed, audio and video feed, and something you could really work with. And the platform is rich with editing tools and some balancing and short creation and captions and all the things you might imagine. Very, very intuitive and powerful tool that costs of dollars per month, not way less than 100. I think I might be paying $39.99 a month or $49.99 a month. I forget the exact fee. So between the Podcaster Pro, I bought a Rode Pod mic. I think that might have been $100. Today, coming to you from Aruba, I have another $100 microphone. It's this little Sennheiser microphone. Actually, it's going to be my first recording with it. It's going to be part of my Rode gear. Exceptional microphone for the value. And I'm a big fan of Sennheiser. It's got a little plug for the back. I use these little in-ears so you could see on the side. So I get isolated and I could hear really well during the recording. So once I got past all the gear, and again, I wasn't overly focused on making sure I had the perfect everything, the perfect lighting. And if you are a fan of what I'm doing and you watch my episodes, you'll see the quality improving. The edits are improving. The B-rolls are improving. The shorts are improving. The lighting's improving. And then the preparedness with the guest took a big lift after my first dozen or so. So what I do now is when I book somebody to come on for an episode, well, first of all, we meet for 15 minutes sometime in advance of the episode. And if it's somebody I do not know, we get to know each other, talk a little bit about it. It usually goes 15 to 30 minutes, and we sort of don't wait for the episode to be the first introduction. We don't over talk about the episode either, because a lot of the authenticity comes from surprise. From there, I create a podcast episode brief, and I send that show format over to somebody. I'm going to talk about A, B, C, D, E, and F. Here are some examples of some of the questions I might ask. But then I tell them, I will not let this outline be in the way of recording an amazing episode and stopping great conversation. So I keep a laptop open on the side, and I'm very, very, very keen on making sure that the flow of the dialogue is natural. I want it to feel like as if I'm sitting next to somebody and having a conversation and I'm not referring to notes. I think over time I've improved in doing that. There's still room for improvement, but I make sure that I watch every episode. I score myself and I see where I could have improved or where maybe there's something I did that I want to lean in on, and I leverage it for the next episode. Over time, back to the equipment piece, I did upgrade my camera to the tiny camera. It's a 4K camera, has some great, balancing effects and zooms and all of these things. I'm using 10% of the features of that camera. Right now, I'm recording on the native MacBook Pro camera. That's on my latest MacBook Pro. I think this thing is maybe 6 months old. I expect at least a 1080p feed here. If not, I'm recording in 1080p. So I'm getting a 1080p feed, which is great quality. The quality is going to be great. And I may do some color balancing. I may not. I like a bit of a lo-fi edit episode. I don't like to spend an incredible amount of time on making sure it's tweaked, because some advice I got from somebody that said, hey, the last 3 hours you spend tweaking this, it's only on something you're going to notice. I have a friend who's a world-class photographer who made that quote about some of the final images he's created. And so the episode started. Episode 1 was with my good friend and first boss in technology, Michael Kolbrenner. He's a great guy. He's very interesting. He's easy to talk to. We have great rapport. So, of course, that's going to be the first episode. He's the guy that got me into tech. Second from there, I did one with Adam. He's the Podfather. He's the guy that introduced me to podcasting. And with Adam, we had virtually zero script because he's conversant in so many topics and our banter back and forth is so easy, as well as with Michael, by the way. I don't think I've had a scripted episode with Michael yet, and he's been on a number of times. But because I've been so blessed in life to be around so many people with great talent, through the gym, I was working out with a woman who was a 92 gold medalist, or rather a gold medalist in the 92 Olympics. Chrissy Perham, swimming, Barcelona. I gave her a call. She's like, of course I'll come on. So now I've got Olympic gold medalist. Another gym I go to, Greg Chalmers, PGA Tour Pro, won in 2016, on tour, just has had a brilliant multi-decade career in PGA level golf, sort of ups, downs, lefts, rights. He came on and talked about hard work and diligence and his path and how he got there and how he started playing golf. And then from there, CEOs of companies and founders, and then everyday working folks out there making a difference, making a living, trying to do something to better their lives and better the people around them. So that's how I got started. This is episode 95. I've got a special episode coming up for episode 100. Let's just say it's somebody who was very high ranking in the military, who's moved on and retired. And, when I say high ranking, there's a G with stars in front of that, or after that, I should say, and who now helps veterans get sort of reacclimated and assimilated into normal life post military service. I'm super excited about this episode. I really can't leak a lot more about it. I'm recording it in a week or so, and it'll come out on February 16th. But this is such a special opportunity for me because, one, I'm a huge supporter of our veterans, and what they provide to the safety and soundness of our country, and the sacrifices they and their entire family makes to serve is something I'll always respect. So not only is it a pleasure and a great opportunity for me to have this person on, but I feel like there's an opportunity to spread the word in what this person is doing to help others. So that's super exciting. People said, Vic, what do you get out of podcasting? Are you making money? The flat out answer right now is no. I'm about 58,000 subscribers. I'm not really making any money. Is there money coming in? Sure, a little bit, but I'm spending a lot of money. I'm spending a lot of money on hosting. I'm spending some money on Riverside. I have some other tools and software that I'm spending some money on. I'm constantly tweaking and buying equipment, a new light here, or a new backlight, or a new sign, or something like that. That's coming on. I have an editor that I pay that does all my shorts editing. That it's actually second generation of my shorts. The first generation was I did it with my son, but I'm going to come back to that. So I have some production costs and post-production costs and a scheduling tool that costs some money. I use Metricool. So on a monthly basis. And then, by the way, I spend money with Google, with YouTube on promoting episodes. I only do it through YouTube. All of these other get clicks, get followers, get bait, get bot, like no bueno. I mean, it comes and goes as fast as you could imagine. I've got all the great advice on why not to use it, but I have found the YouTube paid promotion to be very effective. It's also not frowned upon by YouTube, so you sort of get pumped up in the algorithm. So no, I'm not really making money yet, but I'm a lot smarter than I was. And I have a saying, whatever episode number it is. So let's say last week was 94. They say, hey, how's it going with the podcast? And I say, I'm 94 episodes smarter than I was 94 episodes ago, because the people I've had come on to the podcast have been nothing short of spectacular and generous. And they have given me their time and their experience and their wisdom and told stories about how hard it was to get their business lifted up off the ground, how many times they failed and how many times they had to get back up. And for me, there's gold there. And there are so many lessons for people to watch these episodes and go, one, first and foremost, that person who I thought was incredibly successful maybe failed 8 or 10 times before the success came. Two, it shows the resiliency and reminds people I'm going to need resiliency as well. So they've been very generous. I've learned a ton. It's interesting, as I build the channel and I get more subscribers, I start attracting some different people. So where I used to chase people to come on and solicit them and convinced them to come on and give this young podcaster, well, not young in age, but young in time in the saddle podcasting, an opportunity to interview you and have a conversation. People are coming to me now. I get about 10 to 12 emails a week. My 100th episode came solicited by a marketing company, which is pretty surprising. And I'm getting a lot of opportunities to really meet high quality, motivated, very successful people that want to come on and share their story. Additionally, as somebody told me once, "Hey Vic, you've got a pretty relentless set of balls in a way where you don't fear being told no, like you just brush it off." So I've been reaching out to people and punching above my weight class. One of the most recent examples that's now led to 3 episodes, and I'll talk you through that, is when Ozzy died. I was like, man, I have an experience with Ozzy. I co-wrote a song with Alice Cooper that Ozzy sang background vocals on, and I told the story there. And then I happened, because I was mentioning Ozzy in my feed, some people get popped up. And Zach Wilde, the guitar player, lived around the corner from me when I grew up in Jackson, New Jersey. I knew him way back then. I'm sure he'd remember me now. I reached out to Zach. That's still a process. And Zach, if you're watching this, I'd love to have you on. Or if anybody who's in touch with Zach knows Zach, let him know I'd love to have him on. But I also reached out to Gus G. And I reached out to him randomly through some contact info, and he replied and said, "Yeah, I'd love to come on." And we had an amazing episode. And during that episode, he told me next year, or this year rather, that he was going to be working on a new album with various different singers. And I said to him, "Oh man, you got to work with this one guy. This guy's voice is amazing. He's the new voice of rock and roll." And he's go, "Oh, what's his name?" I said, "Dino Jalusic." And he leaned back in his chair and he said, "Vic, Dino's a good friend of mine. Of course I'm going to be working with Dino." And so when I had heard that, I had let Gus's episode drop. It went out. We got some good views on it. And I reached out to him and said, "Hey, might you be kind enough to introduce me to Dino?" He introduced me to Dino, and Dino came on, but Dino said yes. Dino came on. We had a great conversation. And both of those guys are incredibly humble and gracious and just good guys. Well, Dino does some work with Joel Hoekstra. Joel is this amazing guitar player who's been in Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Whitesnake, and he's just all over YouTube. And he's so technically sound. The guy can play anything. And from what I understand, he's such a humble and cool, nice guy. So what does good old Vic do? Reaches out to Dino with a nice note, said, "Hey, good news. We're at about 86,000 views on the episode. The comments are spectacular. People really love you. If you're up for it, and if you don't mind if I impose, would you reach out to Joel and see if he'd like to come on?" Well, 2 days ago, I get a note from Dino, says, "Joel's in. Contact his guy at this email address for scheduling and you'll make it happen." So now I have friends who love Joel and love Dino, and they're like, they just can't even believe what's going on. They think it's great. But every one of these guests leads to another guest that's fantastic, that has a ton of talent and a great story and a lot of grit and a lot of fortitude and a lot of resilience. And as I say, a lot of stickability. It's that word that's not in the dictionary, but it's intuitive. It's the ability to stick with something. Got to stick. People in the music business used to say that. Got to have stickability. And it's true with anything you do. If you want to be successful, you've got to have stickability. So I get to meet all these great people and I punch above my weight class. I'm still reaching out to Mr. Wonderful to get him on the podcast. But, that's a few weight classes above where my podcast popularity is now. But he'll be on someday. It's going to be great, as will others. I continue to have Adam back. I also use this as a tool to help people when I can. There are some people that I have worked with who I think are very, very talented. They're great people that are valuable to the companies that they work for, and they find themselves without a job, or they got hit in a reduction in force, or for whatever reason, they're not working at a particular company anymore. And I say, "Hey, let's do a podcast." And they look at me like, "You've had on Adam Curry, you've had on rock stars like, Steve Brown, Trickster, Dino, and now you're telling me Joel's coming on. You've had a founder and CEO of a company on who sold his company for $4 billion. You've had on Olympic gold medalists. You've had on a PGA Tour pro. And now you want me on? I'm like, yeah, let's talk for a little bit. I want to unpack your core story. And so I spend, 30 to 60 minutes with them pre-recording, and I just listen. I have them tell me about where they grew up and what their parents were like, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, the town, the environment. Did they go to school? Did they not go to school? How did all of that formulate who they are today? And I take amazing notes. And if there's anything I think I'm good at, and I'm better at it for others than myself, although lately I tell a pretty okay story about myself. I can listen and create an amazing story that you'll sound like, leading man or leading woman. And so I play it back to them at the end of that hour. And I go, okay, let's see. You're this, you're that. You went through this, you went through that. You've got the strength, the grit. You fell down here, you got back up, you fell down here. And all of a sudden they go, wow, that's me. I said, that's what I want to capture. I want to do an episode that lets people know you're authentic, that you're resilient, that you're hardworking, that you're smart, that you think on your feet, that you're a problem solver, or that you're a highly technical or capable resource. And then I want to use that as an opportunity to help them market themselves. So it comes out not only on YouTube and all audio platforms, but then I do a nice boost, and I do a paid boost on LinkedIn to try to get them broad coverage at my expense. I don't ask people for money. I have not asked anybody for a cent that has appeared on the podcast, nor has anybody asked me for money to be on it. So I'm at a spot where I'm very fortunate to sit where I sit on it. So another thing that has come from it, my son, through the things he's done, he's been a film guy forever. And he now has a freelance company where he does content creation for other people. So it could be anybody from the insurance industry to the fitness industry, and anything in between, all the way around the back. Anybody who wants to create content to gain attraction. My son, Alex Pepe, is amazing at it. And for a while, he was doing my shorts, but he helped cut what I would call the short prototype, like the style, the format, how it's done, what's most effective. And so we were able to take that and take some of the great things he's done and send that off to another editor and have them sort of use that style sheet, that style to continue to create my arts, because his business has taken off and he's far too busy now. And, it's always nice when your children have wings and they move on. So it was an opportunity for me to sit alongside him, and he was sit at another desk in my office and have his headset in and create and do work. And we get to chat about things. So it was fun, but it was also great for me to watch him blossom in the space. He's done some really amazing things. So a lot of things he's had for customers have had millions and millions of views. So he's quite on his way. Maybe someday I'll make money from the platform. That'll be great. I've been approached most recently for paid sponsorships. So I think with the amount of views I'm getting per episode and the quality of guests I seem to be attracting, and just hitting 58,000 subscribers that seem to be sticking around a little bit. There's a financial opportunity in that, but that's like running another business. I just want to keep the momentum going here and just try to attract the best conversations that I can with the best people I can find inside mine and maybe one or two weight classes above me. So to wrap this whole thing up, if there's anything I could say about podcasting, is that one, if you've got a story to tell, or you've got a talent, or you've got an interest in some topic, and maybe you're not the expert, but you just want to be a voice for that topic, you can attract the experts. I see a lot of people who talk about dieting. They're not experts in dieting, but they interview experts in dieting. Then they become real wise about dieting and nutrition and things like. So if you're into soccer, or you're into football analysis, or you just want to cover news from your own perspective, we see there's a lot of that. Or if you like success like I do, and you want to talk about and share stories and laugh and have a good time and entertain people, this platform is it's incredible. You can run your own network. You are the CEO of your own network. And last stat I'm going to give you came from Riverside. I think it's some crazy number, like less than 3%. Let me look it up here while I'm while I'm talking to you because I want to get it right. I'm pretty sure I have the stat here on my phone. If not, I'm going to guess and I'm going to get it wrong, and that's going to be okay. Let me see. Now, I can't find it quickly, and I don't want to make you all wait. But there's some number where it's like somewhere between 3 and 8% of all people who start podcasting, or I should say the opposite, 95 to 97% of people who podcast don't make it past the 8th episode. Think about that. So what's the key word here? We go back to stickability. And I'm telling you, it's a grind. You put an episode out there, 20 views, it's your friends and family. Maybe 3 of them are you watching it 3 times from 3 different devices. And then the next one, then you're like, holy cow, I broke 100 views. And then 200 and then 500. And then you put some shorts out there. And I've got shorts now that'll do 10 or 11,000 views on TikTok and Instagram, and maybe 1,000 or 15 or 1,700 on YouTube. And then it'll come out and be like 83. It's just, you never know what's going to hit. I put out 5 shorts a week. I put out 1 episode a week. So if you're going to do it, one, don't worry about the gear. You could get great gear for under $1,000. You could look amazing. You really could. Number 2 is focus on the content, be organized, be prepared. Now, I don't get paid to tell you Riverside is great. I just like it. It's been great for me. I pay for it. I'm not a sponsor of them. I've had nothing but great success with Riverside. Number 2, but pick a platform, choose a platform. I think there are a couple free ones out there. 3, either edit inside that tool, or if you've got a Mac, iMovie will get you home. If you don't want to become an expert in Adobe Premiere Pro, that's fine. iMovie has tons of capabilities to get you moving. Matter of fact, this episode is going to be edited with iMovie on my Mac out here in Aruba. And then lastly, have a blast, have fun. Don't feel like you're acting. Just speak naturally. Make believe you're on a Zoom or a Teams call or a Google Meet call with one of your friends and you're just chatting about a topic. Don't worry over much how much you look. About how you look, or these platforms take a lot of sins and polish them up. My audio will be AI processed. My video will be color balanced when it's all done. And this thing is going to look really, really great. It's not going to look out of place on my channel. So that's it for today. I gave my guests a break, but I didn't want to miss a week because, again, I've got stickability. I am committed to this platform. And I want to thank everybody for watching this podcast. It's been humbling to see people comment and people come on, and I don't mind a negative comment from time to time. At least I know you're watching and paying attention. But mostly I've had great comments. I've had great guests, and I'm very fortunate. Lastly, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, hit the bell so you get notified. And again, share this episode and this podcast with your friends and ask them, hey, help my friend out, help a guy check out, help support his channel. Just go out there and subscribe and watch some episodes. You're going to find he's got some cool guests on. He's a pretty funny guy. He's lighthearted. I hope I'm all those things to you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. There's a lot more to come here in 2026. Have a great day. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.